Yeah, Timeline, I think, is when I had a really big crush on Gerard Butler. And then we had him come out as a Phantom.
Oh, yeah.
Of the opera. So we got that going for us, too.
So many things.
With Patrick Wilson, the second time I'd seen him, because he'd been Angels in America by that point. Oh, man, let's watch Conjuring right now.
Right now. We got to stop. We're turning off the tape. And we're going to watch Conjuring. We'll be back in 2 hours.
See you later.
Just need to know our friendship won't end. My buddy, my buddy, my buddy, my buddy.
Hello and welcome to Girls Who Came to Sugar Bakers, where nerds and platonic life partners Erin and Leslie watch episodes of Designing Women, then recap, review, and share other fun things related to the show. I'm Leslie.
And I'm Erin.
We're back.
Wow. Jeez.
It's been quite some time.
Between work and headaches and me being sick for like a month, like literally a month.
Yeah.
Whew, man.
It's been a wild ride. The last bit of 2019.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man.
Not 2019.
Not 2019. That was our joke earlier today that we're going to use during the show, but we'll see if it actually comes up.
We'll see.
That I said, like, we got to say it in the show. Not in 2019, because there's just like a week left or whatever it is. 10 days, something like that.
A little over a week.
In this decade. I was going to say century.
Dad jokes in this decade.
Man, in this decade. What? Dad jokes.
That's all. There was like, was one of those, I guess, blow your mind posts, and it was like, dad jokes. I'll see you next year. I'll see you next decade. It was like the evolution. It was like, I'll see you next decade.
I like the ones that's like, 2000 was 20 years ago, which is really funny because 1980 was also 20 years ago. And then
I felt that deeply.
And Tumblr messed it up because they're like, look, all you people that were born after the turn of the century don't understand that it just messed us up. Like, we just don't know.
We don't know.
Like, it was 20 years ago, but also no years ago. Like, we don't know what's happening.
Like, Y2K fucked us all up. Okay?
Maybe, hold on.
That's what happened.
Maybe it ended.
It did not, like, mess up the machines.
No.
It messed up our brains.
What if that's what happened?
I believe it.
Our brains are the ultimate machines.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
Welcome to our conspiracy theory podcast.
Why don't we have that?
I don't know.
Because you would lose your mind researching.
I could not
and
handle
I would just be this stupid
I'd have to
person.
quit my job.
I would be like the dumb person just talking, and you're like losing your mind, like researching every minute,
in the dark
every
web.
day.
Like, we can't.
It's not good. I'm not going to I love you too much for that. We're not going to let you do it. So we won't be having that.
I wouldn't have anywhere to live because I'd never go to work. I'd just be researching conspiracy theories.
Oh, jeez, if someone could pay you for that.
Anybody want to pay me for that?
I like how I did say recently, I was like, I like also this other, like, I do some podcasts and stuff. And then someone's like, that's really lucrative. It's like, what? If you already have like a career and you do a podcast.
Yeah.
Then like maybe
it's like a secondary stream of income.
Most of the people who make money from podcasts, like they already are in like the biz.
Yeah, don't make money from podcasts.
Yeah, it's like they do something else. So funny. Even something like My Dad Wrote a Porno, like they all were like doing stuff that was like money anyway. Yeah. So it was like whatever. I have to call them out, but you know what I mean? Like, as I'm saying, like everyone who makes money off a podcast is already doing other things. Mm-hmm. It is not. You guys are funny. So what do we do now? Let's see.
We talk about our sugar baker moments.
That's what we do. Did you want to start us off? Oh, you're drinking. Sorry.
That's okay. I was done. I just had that one last sip.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a lot, but I will focus on 2. New home, new job, kind of.
Wow.
I'll be moving next month from this place we're sitting now that is musty smelling, and sometimes the ceiling collapses and it rains every 3 months and the faucets don't turn off all the time, and
she made it cozy. Don't worry.
It's fine.
It's not happy.
It's dangerous, and at any time it could start raining.
Yeah.
While we're talking.
Yeah.
Inside
the house.
So I got a new place. It's not far from the current place, but it's been completely renovated and it has hardwood floors, and so I'm feeling fancy. And the other thing is it's not like official. I haven't signed paperwork.
Oh, okay.
Well, they offered it to me, but I haven't signed paperwork yet because they're still rebanding the county or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But I got an internship for 2020. Woohoo!
I'm so excited about this.
All libraries all the time.
That's actually
it's gonna be my life.
No, I did say that like a couple weeks, well, before I got sick, so I'll say a couple months ago, that I was like, I want you to have like internship in the library and to work full time in the library and to sell book sleeves. I just want all books, all times.
All books, all times. I'm getting there.
You are.
So my second job will be like less physically strenuous next year and pay me more money. So I'm pretty happy about that.
And it's in line with what you want to do.
Exactly. And internships look real good on resumes. So, and everybody there was super nice, and I'm looking forward to working with them. And
I'm so excited.
Thanks. That's it, I think. How about you?
Did you have shout outs?
Oh, I'll let you go and then I'll do the shout outs because I've read like 40 books in the last like month or something.
That's all right. So I went to Chicago during our break.
I'm from Chicago.
Wait, what is that a quote from?
It's from Drag Race.
I thought, hold on. Oh, wow.
Season.
Wow.
Is it 2? It's
you know your
Monique?
Audience, clearly.
Yeah.
Like, and that's not sarcasm. I bet people recognize that immediately that are listening to also this podcast. I started like just turned to like look at you, but I felt weird that we were both like
facing forward,
facing
the door,
like someone's coming. So I went to Chicago and that was really fun. I went to go see a former roommate of mine and her children, and we had like a Friendsgiving, and it was funny. My friend Jennifer was like, "Don't judge Chicago from like the 24 hours we were there for your birthday, you know, like you haven't been in it yet. You gotta like really be in it." Because I wasn't like loving it, and actually technically I was in the like suburbs like an hour away from Chicago for most of it, but we did go into the city one day particularly to go to the I should be making notes for you and I'm not, sorry.
It's okay.
The Museum of Science and Industry. We went there as like a fun, like, let's do a day in the city thing. And, cause my friend has, 2 little, like a baby, like she's 9 months old, I think now. Oh shoot. 8 months old. Wait, she's probably 9 months now because I don't remember. She's still a baby. We carry her around. And then she has, her little daughter. Oh no. How old is she? 6 or 7 years now? Darn it. I cannot remember any ages at all. So she was like a little kid and like a baby. And we were like playing in this museum. And it was really fun because it was set up for Christmas time. And they had Christmas trees from around the world. So fun. We were like freaking out. And then actually my friend's family is like Hungarian and Serbian. And they had an actual little display about Serbian Christmas, like Orthodox Serbian Christmas traditions, because they don't have a Christmas tree. They actually have, I won't be able to pronounce it. I was able to at the time, but they had like certain things they do with like, they had fashioned in like a wreath basically in the box, but it's not necessarily what they do. And it was something so cool that she had told me about earlier in the week. So we really enjoyed that. We came like at the perfect time and they were playing with all the stuff and we were there all day. So that was one of my sugar baker moments. My other one was not just going to a movie with you just now. That was always fun. That we went to Alamo.
Yep.
We saw Knives Out.
Really
we had burgers. Yep. It was, Knives Out was fun. Like Leslie does not like
I don't like
murder mysteries at all. Well, mysteries or murder mysteries like at all, but she enjoyed it and I loved it. That was fun. But then also we got here and Leslie gave me my bag of presents, which were all fantastic. But one of which, can I share about the dumb one? One of which is like my favorite thing. I think I had a maniacal laugh.
You did.
I have since we have lived together 4 years ago now, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to be like, where is my tiny pillow to throw at you? Like whenever I was like fake mad at her, I wanted to have a tiny pillow to throw at her. I don't know where I got this concept from. It was just like I wanted to like throw something at you, but like, because I think there were pillows on the couch.
Yeah,
but
they were like
hurt you.
Full size pillows.
Yeah, I wanted a tiny pillow to throw at you, and not. She is playing with her cat right now. She's biting her. She's gonna get you. You gonna get got.
I'm gonna get got.
I wanted a tiny pillow to throw at her in anger, and so like Leslie, since she has become like a seamstress over this end of the decade, I was gonna say this decade. I couldn't make a joke there. It was gonna come out, and I didn't. If I didn't have it in me, she made me a whole bag of tiny pillows. And I told her, I was like, you have made a mistake. You have made an error in judgment that you gave me ammunition. Like, what is wrong
Literal
with
ammunition.
You? Like, but I can't do it today because she'll know it's coming. But there's like always going to be, like, when I'm here, there's always going to be a tiny pillow in my pocket to throw at her. And she's eventually going to kill me. It's okay. But that was my sugar banger moment. He threw like, I could throw tiny pillows at you. And I took a picture that we'll put on the website of these tiny pillows that she made that are really fancy. They look like, I need like a tiny couch.
You do need a tiny
put
couch.
Them on.
They came from like we have like a designer at work, and she gets all these fabric samples, and so that's where they came from. She gave me a whole box of fabric samples, and I was like, I know what I'm gonna make with these.
She told me that. Like, had I even
sorry. I told you about the fabric samples.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm going to make you a Christmas present.
So stupid.
It's going to make me really happy.
I was like, what? You're not supposed to make anything. Oh, man. So, there we go. Did you want shout outs?
Okay. Yes. Very quickly.
Here she goes.
Movies. Okay. Jumanji, The Next Level.
Mm-hmm.
Susprira, the remake. Mm-hmm. Black Christmas, the remake.
Wow, you've been good about vacation movies.
Yep. And Knives Out, of course. We just talked about that.
Yeah.
And then books, The Secrets We Kept. I don't know if I've talked about this before, but in case I haven't, like, go read this book. It's by Lara Prescott. It's about the early days of the Cold War, after World War II, before the CIA was officially formed.
Right, with the two ladies and like one doesn't I won't say.
Yeah.
One I was excited about.
Like, I was only rooting for her. Like, I don't give a fuck. The
Mm-hmm.
Russians can lose. The Americans can lose. Like, I'm just rooting for
Wait, is that
Sally.
the one that's about Dr.
Zhivago?
Not Strangelove.
Nope. I think we did talk about this before. But just read it.
It's fine. Go for it.
Next one is Alone by EJ Noyes. It's a lesbian romance. So no, that going in is just a romance novel. But it like got me in my soul. The plot is this woman is going to be paid $500,000 to spend 4 years in complete isolation. And honestly, I do it for half that.
4 years?
Yep. I would do it for half that. And so she starts going crazy, of course, because they're doing experiments on what happens to people in isolation.
Yeah.
She starts hearing voices of like her dead mom and her dead sister and like all these other people. And then like someone, like a hiker shows up and she doesn't know if she's real.
Wait, she's like in like the woods?
Yeah. She's like, she doesn't know where she is. It's like in the middle of nowhere. I have the audiobook on Audible if you want to borrow it. Yep.
Oh.
Right. And so she doesn't know if this hiker is real. She doesn't know if she can trust her stuff, but also if the hiker is real, she's totally fucking up this experiment.
Oh.
And so it's real.
Huh.
Like it got me. I was like, I want to do that. Lastly, The Future of Another Timeline by Annalee Newitz. And I read like in the bio in the back, it uses the pronoun she, but I know someone who knows their partner and they use the pronoun they. So I'm just going to say they.
Okay.
But they also wrote Autonomous, which was a really good like cyberpunk sci-fi book. Came out like 2 years ago, I think.
Did you read that one?
I did. I read that when it first came out. It was good. But this one's like time travel, and there's like a group of women. They call themselves the Daughters of Harriet because in their timeline, Harriet Tubman was a senator.
Oh,
I told you about this one.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And so they're trying to go back. They're like these men's rights activists who are trying to fuck with the timeline.
Oh, wow.
And so they're trying to go back. They don't really realize at first, but as they go back to these different points, they realize that things aren't right. And so they kind of start forming this idea that there are men going back and fucking with the timeline. And then there's like this time war and they have to stop them. But also the main character has stuff in her own past that she's like fighting with, trying to change it, because they're of the theory that like you can't, if you change something in your own timeline, like it's frowned upon, but they think that like if you go back in time and kill Hitler, somebody else would have done it. You know, like there would be another Hitler. And it's like individual people don't make history, like grassroots movements and people and organizations and communities like change history, because if you just go back and kill someone,
going right now into your Audible and like downloading it alone to die, but I'm not paying attention.
And I love Abby Craden. I think narrates that.
I'm really like, as we're talking, I'm like logging into her thing on my Audible app to do it.
And Abby Craden narrates that, and she's amazing.
Okay.
Also, shout out to her. She's narrated like, I don't know, 100 books or something, and I love her voice.
Okay.
But yeah, that's it.
Wow. That's okay. And I also you got some cool.
You can have anything because I bought
weird.
like 6 books on the 50%
I've
sale.
never logged on to your Audible before.
There's a lot of stuff in French.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
I have no idea what they're saying, but it's
We listen to it.
And Fanny Ardant, and there's another woman, another actress that has narrated a few, and I just like listening to their voices as I fall asleep because they're very soothing.
Oh yeah, no,
French.
I've done that. Hello, that's why I like listening to like Romanian a lot of the time.
Yeah. But yeah, help yourself.
Oh.
Phoebe's book is in there.
Yeah.
Her last one.
I did not ask permission to log into her account ever.
Yeah,
This is what we do this all the time. We share like library stuff and like all kinds of accounts and whatever. But I was like, if I don't do this right now, I'm gonna forget.
It's so good.
Okay.
I read it in print because I got it through ILL, and then I saw that it was available, but it's only from Audible. So like I can't get it on Scribd. I can't get it from the library, like the audiobook, because I wanted to listen to it after I read it.
Yeah.
And so I started my Audible account again to get that book.
Really?
And then bought like 6 other books because they were having a 50% off sale.
Yeah. I do that sometimes. Like mine's paused right now, but I'll like, get back
I'll
in.
pause it again at the end of the month and then re-up it at some point.
Yeah. Because I have so much stuff I haven't listened to on there. It's just everything all the time.
All the time. I met my Goodreads goal this year.
What was it?
250.
That was your.
I'm currently at 262.
Oh, I was gonna say you probably surpassed it. Is why I asked.
Yep. Still
Look
got
at
all
her.
those I gotta read.
That whole sack?
Yeah. Those are all
1,
my
2, 3,
ILLs.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, folks. There are 11 books.
Can
I'm
I do it
looking
by
at.
January 2nd?
Yep.
Maybe.
You can, because she skims sometimes. And
Sometimes, yeah.
So, like, she can do it. Have faith. This child reads, like, a book a minute. It takes me about 9 years to read a book. I'm just not a good reader.
You're
like,
a thorough reader.
No, like, visually, I have, like, dyslexia. It's all right. Also, like, I just can't. I can sit there and watch a TV show all day. That's just how I am. Some
I
people
can do
can't
that very rarely.
Yeah. No, I can do a TV show like all day. I can watch a movie 25 times. Like,
that I can't
not
do.
in a row. Actually, a couple times I have watched movies like back to back. Like I'm like, and again.
Let's just do it.
One more again.
There's some I've seen in the theater and I'm like, can we just sit here until the next one starts again?
Okay, hustlers. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Look, it wasn't the best movie of the year. It's my top movie of 2019. When I release my top 10 on Facebook, it's going to be like, none of these are in any order except Hustlers is at the top and then everything else.
Everything else is just on
whatever.
There. That's funny. I do have one shout out. Speaking of TV shows. Do it. Just the Midnight Diner Tokyo Stories that is on Netflix, and my brother recommended it to me, and I happened to watch it that night, and it is, let me tell you, this is if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, particularly if you're in somewhere cold, it is such a weird, excuse me, I'm better
Stop dying.
at breathing. You guys, I would be happy that we did not tape before now, because I would have been coughing every 5 seconds. I even like ended up in the hospital. That's how much just like cold whatever virus thing has taken me over. So not in. I went to the ED for like 3 hours. Let's not be dramatic, Erin. But the Midnight Diner Tokyo Stories, that I happened to just watch it when I got home, work one night, and put on like my slippers, and it was like, oh, let me tell you one thing though, it's like the food is going to make you, well, I mean, I guess if you don't like any Asian cuisine at all, you won't be excited by it, but the first episode they're talking about like I think tan men, which is like a noodle soup, and I was like, why don't I have any noodle soup? Like, what is this
now?
I was like, oh, so mad. And so make you want like a lot of pasta and stuff and whatever, but I absolutely love it. There are 2 seasons on Netflix. It's real cozy, especially the like theme. My brother and I just comment to each other sometimes, and it's just like pretty pleasant. And it's funny because my brother, I watched like the first 2 seasons before he got like 3 episodes in. He was like, oh yeah, like they're kind of like coy about things, and like they're not like it doesn't come right out. And I was like, oh no, that happens eventually. They are definitely like explicit about stuff, and so but it's just, I don't know, it's really, especially watching at night, it's cold outside, it is really kind of soothing somehow. I don't know, I'm loving it. So I've already watched it like through twice.
Yay,
because it's so good. So that's my thing, especially if you like have any inkling to go to Japan. It'll make you want to go more. And I have Japanese cousins who lived with me when I was younger, and it was making me really nostalgic. Like I told you, I was like, I want to go to Sanrio Surprises, except for actually it's closed. It made me so sad. But maybe like want to like have like my bento box is not a Moomin bento box. And I was like, why is it not a Moomin bento box? Which actually Moomin's like a Finnish book that they also like in England, but I know it through Japan. So whatever, but it did make me want to like watch Sailor Moon again and all kinds of stuff. It was like tapping into so much nostalgia of dumbness. So there we go. We've caught all up.
We're caught up.
Jeez. Do you want me to tell our readers what we watched this week?
What did we watch this time?
Okay, so this time we watched, literally today we watched it. Season 6, episode 15, Payne Comes Home. By the way, look at how smug Mary Jo is in that picture.
I love her this
I'm going to do a little like screenshot.
She's like the translator of parents for this episode.
Yeah.
She's like explaining what's happening.
She's hilarious.
To everyone.
I'm just going to do a little screenshot of her smugness.
So cute.
Okay, so it first aired January 13th, 1992. And TV Guide reads, Julia delights in the opportunity to dote on son Payne when he returns for a visit, which Julia learns will be permanent. Spoilers. Oh, it doesn't say that Payne is played by guest star. Oh, shoot, what's his name? I noticed it again at the end of the credits. I was like, use him by name, but I always forget because I have like a crush on him for when he was on
Talk Amongst Yourselves.
Talks Amongst Yourselves. So when he was on Scandal, and he's like the awful... he's like a sniper or something like that. I'm just like, that's what I love about it, because I'm like, you were definitely in The Father Bride and Designing Women. What are you doing? Probably just type in Payne Sugarbaker. It's like Google.
George Newbern?
Yeah, that's it.
Why does... Oh, because he's not a sugar baker. I was like, why is his
he not
last name
Sugar
not
Baker?
Sugar Baker? It's McElroy.
Oh, right, his dad.
His dad's, yeah. I was like, why is it not saying Sugar Baker?
That's actually cool. That I didn't even think about that. Julia kept her last name,
McElroy, I guess.
And that she kept her last name, I guess, because she's Julia Sugarbaker, and that her company is named after her and her sister, who is in Japan.
What do you think you're gonna
Madam?
do? Are you? Yeah, I know. You're not gonna fit. You're gonna try. You just sit right there. Okay, sorry.
We're playing with the cat.
I'm trying to discourage her from wrecking the setup here. Okay. We start at Sugar Baker's as per usual. Julia has just gotten a letter from Payne, and
remember letters?
Remember letters, like actual handwritten letters. And Carlene's like, "Oh, I remember meeting him when he came home last fall."
This was the laziest.
So lazy.
Like, excuse me?
She's like, "We hadn't been here long, and like we hadn't even met Bernice yet." And then we immediately flash back, and we never come back to the present. Spoilers. Like, the end of the credits is still...
It's still...
last fall.
Yeah, that's it. What was the point of this?
I don't know. It could have just been like this episode.
It could have just been now. It didn't
like,
have to
he
be
hasn't
the
been
past.
home. Because she says last fall. So, like, this bitch hasn't been home in, like, forever.
No, so it
he
could
have
just been
just come now.
Just now. It doesn't have to be, it was really strange.
It was weird. So we go to the flashback, and Payne's coming, and Carlene offers to help Julia, like, make up the room for him and stuff. But she's just kind of, like, nesting and enjoying it because he hasn't been home in so long, so she doesn't want any help. And Carlene says that she can't wait to meet him and his wife all the way from New York City. And she's like, I always think of that Bacardi commercial where they just say, New York City.
Oh my
and then
God.
she giggles. And then she asks if Julia knows that commercial. Of course, Julia does not.
Nope.
She doesn't know references and popular culture and things. She's too refined for that.
No, yeah.
And Carlene tells her she should see it because it's cute. Julia's like, I'll keep that in mind. Carlene is eating fried chicken.
Yep.
Julie goes upstairs. Allison points out that there's a recession on, finally acknowledges that there's actually a recession, because when we were actually talking about the recession, she's like, there's no recession.
Oh, yeah, that's
it's just
right.
people don't want to work.
Yeah.
And people are cutting back on non-essentials like decorating. And Carlene's just like, yep, and just starts licking her fingers and keeps eating the fried chicken. And Allison's like, so when a customer comes in, we have to make the best impression possible instantly. And Carlene's like, what's your point? And she's still licking her fingers. And Allison says, my point is, do you think we should really be you should really be standing here chowing down on a big piece of poultry and licking your fingers? Mm-mm. And Carlene's like, well, that's the way they advertise it, though. Finger licking good. Mm-hmm. And Allison says, no, that's the way they used to advertise it. Now they cater to a more upscale clientele. You know, people who don't lick themselves clean after meals.
I don't think they've never
done
an
that.
Upscale clientele.
It's always been like finger licking good.
Yeah.
Carlene's like, well, I guess you're right. I'm sorry. You know, I want to learn to be a more sophisticated businesswoman like you. And Allison's like, oh, you know, I'm glad to help. Just follow my lead. Whenever a customer walks in here, we treat them like royalty. Do you understand? And then Bernice comes in.
Yep.
And so it's important that before the two things that they said before we flash back were last fall and we hadn't met Bernice yet.
Yeah.
So Bernice
it could have just worked without the whole intro.
We didn't
honestly.
need to know that.
Because we would have picked up. We're smart enough to pick up that they don't know who she is when they act like they don't know who she is.
Yeah.
But continue.
But I guess because there's so many episodes already with the two of them, like they had to be like,
I see.
Remember when we didn't know Bernice?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Sonny.
Yeah.
Teasing you. Talking with my hands, and she's like, well, I'm going to get you.
Yeah, I'm going to get the hand.
Bernice comes in, and she's like, hello, everybody. Who the hell are you two?
Wow, I know. She's coming hot in her red cape.
And Allison immediately starts like catering to her, thinking she's like a client.
Yeah.
She offers to take her coat, and then they offer. She says, yeah, okay, only if you promise to give it back. And she tells Carlene to go get her a cup of tea. And Carlene is very hoity-toity, and she's I'd be delighted, madame. And she asks her if she wants sugar or lemon. Allison starts talking
full,
about
like, tea set.
Yeah, like a very fancy tea set.
It's crazy.
And Allison starts talking about all they do at Sugar Bakers, and Carlene says it's a delight to have her in their workplace. And Bernice is like, what have you done with the people who used to work here?
Yeah.
And Carlene's like, oh, you've been here before. And Bernice says, I think so. And then Allison's like, what did you come in here looking for? And Bernice says, I came here for someone to take me to that new Ernest movie. And then Anthony comes in. Bernice is immediately relieved. And he's talking about getting stuff in the van because he's getting ready to leave. And Bernice is like, Anthony, thank God you're here. And he asks how she's doing. And she's like, who are these people? Mm-hmm. And so Anthony introduces Bernice to Allison and Carlene. And Allison's like, oh, we thought she was a customer. And Bernice says, oh, dear, I do hope that doesn't mean you're going to stop kissing my butt.
Yeah.
And Julia comes down. She thought it was Payne because Payne is coming to visit, as we learned before the flashback. Mm-hmm. And asks if Bernice has met everybody. And Bernice says, I like this girl, talking about Allison. Oh. She's going to go take me to see Ernest.
Yeah. Where did that come from? That didn't happen.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And Julia's like, who's Ernest? And then Carlene gives her the background, all of the Ernest movies.
Yeah.
And she says, back home, Ernest Goes to Camp was held over for 6 weeks. We got a lot of movies like Dead Poet Society and Pretty Woman, but when Ernest came to town, my ex-husband Dwayne Dauber would always say, well, finally a movie about real people who have real problems.
And there was a good audience laugh to that.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
Yep. I haven't seen an Ernest movie since they came out.
Oh, man.
I don't feel like I need to rewatch them. I doubt they would hold up.
They will not hold up. Ernest Scared Stupid I feel like might be interesting to watch again because I remember that one being pretty funny. Ernest Goes to Jail I think I probably need to see because there's a How This Get Made episode about it.
Ooh.
So that seems like I need to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Clearly. And then Allison says that Carlene obviously should be the one to take Miss Clifton to the movie. Mm-hmm. And Bernice is like, nope, You're not backing out on me, are you? I got a gif of this. Jack, no trade back.
Yeah. That got me. What?
Payne comes in and Julia introduces him to Bernice and Carlene and says, you know your cousin Allison or whatever. Turns out Sylvia, his wife, who we saw their wedding, is not coming.
We did? I fully don't remember it.
It was when she sang Sweet Georgia Brown.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You sent me that gift the other day.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I did.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
And he doesn't make a big deal about it. He's just like, oh, yeah, she's visiting her parents and I'm here. But that seems weird because they were both supposed to come.
Yep.
And then she just decided to go visit her parents instead.
Something's afoot.
Something is afoot. And later that night, they're talking and Payne says he's really glad to be there. Just something about the house he grew up in. It feels really safe. And then he tries to shove his clothes in the closet and he's having trouble. But he finds his old model planes that he never really finished building.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you kept these. And she's like, yeah, I kept everything. So it'd be here when you got back. But he says he'll go through like all of his boxes in the attic and stuff and do some cleaning up and do a few other things around the house while he's here. And Julia's like, oh, you're looking tired. Like, you don't have to do all that or whatever. And he says he's okay. But then he says maybe he's not totally okay.
Yeah.
And how, like, the big city is starting to wear him down.
Yep.
And, like, publishing isn't as glamorous as he thought it would be. He's basically a glorified proofreader. And Julie's like, that's not true. And he's like, you're right. I'm not glorified.
Oh.
And then she reminds him that the first couple of years after college are really hard. Like, now he has a wife and he's building his career and he has bills. But that's why they call it being an adult. And she says, and he's like playing with his airplanes while she's talking. And she's like, darling, would you not swoop your airplane while I'm talking to you? Mm-hmm. And she's like, I cooked your favorites, beanie weenies. There's pineapple upside down cake.
What in the world?
And he's like, Mom, that's not really my favorite food anymore.
What adult wants
maybe
beanie
when
weenies?
He was like 6.
Maybe as like a comfort food, but
maybe.
I don't know.
Ooh. And Julia's like, they're not. And he's like, no, that's okay. That's the way mothers are. They think that if you like something once, you'll like it forever.
Huh.
And then he makes this very unnecessary joke.
Oh.
And he says, remember, I used to like breast milk. Like, I couldn't get enough of it, but that doesn't mean you have to have some in the fridge every time I come home.
Leslie does not like human milk, everyone. There's a whole thing about it in Playing House. And like, I tried to make a joke and she almost kicked me out.
Breastfeeding. And nope, I don't. I'm very glad people do it because that's how we that's how we make it.
No, we have too many people, so you're not glad they do it.
I don't want none of it.
I mean, I tried to make a joke about like how I need to have a child just to have like a fridge of like breast milk, and she was so mad at me.
Nope.
I know.
It's not necessary.
I know. So that's why I was like, why is it not necessary joke? Oh, because it's literally not necessary for you.
It's not necessary.
Gotcha.
For me. It's also gross.
Yeah.
A grown man talking about breast milk. It's gross. It's not funny.
Okay, fun fact. Leslie does not think anything about breast milk is funny.
It's funny.
Okay.
Except that one with Suzanne. The episode where Suzanne actually drank it.
Oh, yeah. You thought that was funny? Okay.
It was a little funny.
All right. Because Suzanne.
Anyway, sorry. Tangent.
No.
Julia hopes that they have time to visit while he's here. He's like, oh, we're going to have plenty of time to visit. Sylvie and I are separating. BT dubs. And she's like, why? And he's like, oh, we're just kind of stressed out. Like, we're not really happy anymore. And he makes a good point. He says, we got married because we thought she was pregnant. And when it turned out she wasn't, we wonder why we got married at all.
Oh,
because I feel like they probably wouldn't have got married if they didn't think she was having a baby.
Yeah.
'Cause they were like real young and stuff. And he says, you were right. We were way too young. And Julia's like, I didn't say that. And he's like, no, but you were thinking it. And she's like, I know that, but I didn't say it.
Yeah.
That was cute.
Yeah.
A little sassy. I liked it.
Always.
And she's like, look, I know it's your life, but have y'all talked about this thoroughly? And he says, we've talked and we've talked and we've talked. And like, I don't think we can talk about it anymore. It's best that we live apart. She's going to stay in the apartment in New York. And Julia asks him where he's going to live. And he's like, well, here.
Oh my God.
Wow. Way to invite yourself over, bro.
Yeah. Well, she has like his room there.
That's true.
So, I mean, whatever.
And then we cut to later at Sugar Baker's, and Allison is recounting the Ernest movie that they watched. And she's like, and then he said, how about a bumper sandwich, booger lips, and then ran him over with his truck.
Uh-huh. She loved it.
She did. And Mary Jo's like, another landmark moment in the cinema.
Mm-hmm.
And Carlene's like, I hear they just love Ernest in France.
Is that true, though?
I don't know.
I remember there was some foreign country from America where they're like, love like Ernest.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Maybe it is France.
Yeah.
And then Bernice says, I just love this girl. She really tells it like it is. For example, we went out to the candy counter during the show, and she was going to buy me a box of Raisinets, and the clerk said that'll be $4.50, which is like $20 in today's money.
I know.
And she said, $4.50 for a box of Raisinets. Well, I was going to buy a tall popcorn and a box of Jujubes. Well, I need to apply for a bank loan, booger lips.
Wow.
I tell you, she's a straight shooter. Bernice is leaving, and she says she'll call Allison about Saturday. So they're bros now. They're going to hang out. And Anthony's like, what's Saturday? And Allison says, that would be the monster truck rally.
Yeah.
And Anthony's like, well, looks like Bernice has found herself a new best friend.
Bernice has like the craziest taste in things to do.
She's so funny.
Yeah.
So eclectic. Payne comes down in his bathrobe.
Oh my God.
And Carlene asks how he likes being back in Atlanta. And she says, your mom was telling me you don't like New York as much as you used to. And Payne says, New York is fine for some people, but I've just had too many bad experiences. The last straw was when I got mugged. And they were like, what? You got mugged?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I was having the worst day of my life. My wife and I had a fight. I was taking a walk to shake it off. This guy walks up and says, I've got a knife. Give me your money. And he explained to this potential mugger that he just had a fight with his wife. Like, can I just, like, keep my wallet and maybe just, like, a couple bucks to buy beer? And Anthony's like, what did he do? And Payne says he hit me. And then he let me keep $2. Well, and Carlene says, and people say New Yorkers aren't nice. Let him keep $2.
Yeah.
That won't even buy him Raisinets.
Wow, good callback.
And then Anthony says, you know, I know you and Allison both live there, but like I couldn't do that myself. It's noisy and expensive and full of crime. And Allison says, yeah, but the opera and the ballet are exquisite. And Carlene's like, oh, you went to the opera and the ballet, huh? And Allison's like, well, no. Like nobody ever does. We did.
Yeah.
But we know it's there and it's exquisite. The ballet is exquisite.
Yeah.
Especially with Misty Copeland.
Uh-huh.
Julia comes out from the storeroom and she is asking Payne about all this stuff for breakfast because he's like, oh, I know you're going to want me to clean out the boxes in the attic. And she was like, nope, I was just going to ask how you slept and I want to make you breakfast. And he's like, no, I can do it myself. And she's like, okay, well, do you want this or this? Do you want juice? Do you want this? And she's just like asking him a million questions. And then while she's talking, Allison asks Mary Jo if Payne's just going to sit there again all day in his robe. And he's got this remote. This early 1990s TV remote. It's amazing. And he's clicking through the channels. And Carlene says, have you ever noticed how you can go through about 150 channels with the remote in your hand and everything looks stupid? Uh-huh. But when somebody else is holding the remote control, everything looks so good. Mm-hmm. Why is that, Anthony? Mm-hmm. And Anthony makes a great joke.
They're
here.
like up on him, by the way.
Yeah. He's like, well, Carlene, I guess it's just one of those unsolved mysteries.
Uh-huh. Yep.
I love it.
So happy.
Julia has cooked Payne breakfast. She has done his laundry, and she ironed everything except for his blue jeans because she knows he does not like his blue jeans ironed.
Whoa. Could you imagine ironing blue jeans? Even saying the word blue jeans feels a little weird. Okay.
Yeah. And then Payne's like, oh, you didn't have to do all that. And she's like, yeah, but I like to. And Payne's like, okay, I'll indulge you. And then Carlene says that Julia's just happy as a bird, isn't she? And Mary Jo says, yes, that's what you want for your children. For them to grow up, be completely independent and self-sufficient, and to need you desperately. Mm-hmm. And then she relays the story about Quint.
Jeez.
Quint.
He's
at an age now where he's embarrassed to have a mother at all. He's too cool to ride the bus, so he wants me to drive him. First off, I don't understand that because my parents are like, the only way you're getting to school is if you get on this bus.
Yeah.
So he's too cool for the bus, but so Mary Jo has to drive him, but he's too cool to have anyone see her. So she has to drop him off at the graveyard across from the school. What bullshit is this? That would have not been tolerated in my house. And she said, actually, a lot of parents are dropping their kids off in the graveyard.
I cannot stand it.
We all just like, we don't know what we're going to do. I may just have to start wearing a beard and driving a laundry van just to get him to school.
Oh,
so weird. Allison says, I saw something like this on 2020. It's called Return to the Nest Syndrome. They had an accountant, a lawyer, and a dentist all living with their mommies, and they said it's more like a business arrangement. I live above the garage. It's almost like having my own apartment, except for while they were talking, the moms are spitting on Kleenexes and wiping their faces.
Yeah.
Ew. And Carlene said, I don't think that's so terrible. Spitting on the Kleenex thing is bad, but where I come from, you're not just expected to move 1,000 miles away from home to prove you're grown up. She says that Dwayne was upset, like, when they got married and moved 3 houses down from her family, but it was real convenient having them close by, especially when they were fighting a lot, because it was real nice to have your mama come over and whoop him.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like,
my favorite joke.
Great.
Whoop him.
Whoop him. They're like, what? She whooped him? Mm. And she's like, well, she didn't do it that much. She really got her point across when she made him go out and like break off his own switch from a tree.
I can't believe that.
And Mary Jo is saying, that like Payne just wants a vacation. Allison says, no, he doesn't. He's going to quit his job, divorce his wife, and move back here permanently. And she's like, we're family. And you know how family does things. And Anthony's like, eavesdrop. Mm-hmm. And Mary Jo's like, it's that parental paradox again. Like, you want them to get big, but you want them to stay little. It's kind of like when I was first married to Ted when I was 20. I could tell my parents didn't like the idea of us having sex under their roof. Jeez. And I had to tell them, look, with Raggedy Andy in one corner and listening to Daddy snore in the next room, I don't think you have to worry about it. But at the same time, they'd spend the whole time complaining about not having any grandchildren. Like, they did not understand the two things were related.
God, when she was only 20.
Ugh.
Wow, no.
Wow. And then Julie and Payne come back out, and she's talking, and then she does that thing with the Kleenex on his cheek.
Ugh. Ugh. No.
And then we cut to a scene later where Julie is up in the attic and Payne comes up there and she's already going through his stuff and just like reveling in the memories. And she says she feels like an archaeologist.
She's sitting in like a rocking chair.
In like a baby rocking chair.
Yeah.
And she's just digging through layers like an archaeologist. And she says that she's really glad he came back. Now that he's back, you know, she's felt so alone. Like she doesn't really have any family she can turn to anymore. And Payne's like, oh, you've got Allison. And Julie's like, as I said, I don't really feel like I have any family anymore. And she's like, I'm really glad you're home. And now that you are, I have two things to say to you. The first is that it's been heavy having you here. With Reese dying and Suzanne going to Japan with Mother, it's been really lonely. And I don't really think I've been this lonely since your father died. She's like, and the second thing is you have to go.
I knew that was coming.
He's like, Mother. And she's like, nope, you got to go. It's time. When you married that girl, you made a promise to her. You've got to go back and face your responsibilities. I should have said this a few days ago, but I was being selfish. I wanted you here.
No.
But now, you know, I've been going through these boxes and realized that these things allow me to keep a little piece of you close to me. And I'm not going to throw any of them away. I'm going to keep them all. And I also realized that means I can't keep you. And he's like, oh, you're not throwing me out. Okay.
I'm going down on the job.
And Payne's like, you're not throwing me out, are you?
Sonny decided to climb on Leslie, and I did not stop her. I was not paying attention.
I always thought home was a place when you came, they had to take you in. What are you doing?
I was paying attention, but my brain didn't think through.
Backing up.
Come here.
I can't see the screen, darling.
Come here.
Gotta do so. Okay. We're all she's just gonna sit on the microphone.
Oh my God.
Julia
Come
says
here,
she knows.
Silly girl.
She knows that Sylvia has been calling him, and he's been telling Carly and Allison to tell her that he's not there. And Julia's like, you know, I'm so glad this was a happy place for you to grow up.
Yeah.
But you can't return to your childhood. And he's like, I don't want to return to my childhood. I just want to return to like this room and like this place.
Yeah.
He's like, being an adult bites it.
That was so
true.
funny. And she goes, language.
She's like, it's Payne language. And he's like,
bites it.
He's like, I still need you to keep me in line. And I bet you're looking forward to a time when you don't have to do that anymore. And she's like, not necessarily. And then we cut to later when he's leaving. He's decided he's going to go.
By the way, as I pointed out when we watched it together, in full like business attire.
Like going to work.
Like a blazer and like loafers.
Like nice pants and loafers.
What?
Not pajamas.
No.
And Anthony asks if he needs a ride, and he says no, I got a cab. And then Allison comes to tell him bye, and he goes to hug her, but she makes it weird, and then it's just awkward.
So weird.
But then Carlene is very cute, and she's like, I wanted to give you a penny to throw off the Empire State Building. I hear it flattens to the size of a dinner plate when it hits the sidewalk, but Allison said it would be dangerous. And then Allison says, and stupid, and Carlene's like, and stupid. But so just throw it in a big fountain for me, and hands him a penny. And then she like gives him a hug, and she says, I also hear that if you spit off the Empire State Building when it's really cold, it freezes before it hits the sidewalk.
And she's like, looks like expectant and excited.
Yeah, she's
like,
so
please
cute.
go do it.
And he says he was very happy to meet her, and they have like a very cute hug and stuff. And then Julia says bye to him and all that, and then she closes the door and turns around and says, but he's still my baby. And Payne's like, I heard that. And then it's credits. So we never get back to now.
No.
There's no like moral to the story. There's no why did we flash back to the story. It just is.
It was just a weird episode.
Yeah.
If we're honest.
Yep.
Did you have a favorite outfit though?
I did. Did you have a favorite outfit?
Yes.
Do you want to talk about yours while mine loads?
Okay. Mine was that was a weird little no, don't get up. No, don't do it.
She's coming back.
Oh no. I got you. No. I got you though.
She's determined.
I got you though.
It's okay.
Oh, no.
I don't need that.
Because I have to be so gentle
anymore.
with her too, so I can't like actually hold her.
Arthritis baby.
Arthritis baby. I liked Julia's outfit when Payne tells her he's like staying. I was gonna say he has to stay. No, he tells her he's staying, and she's wearing. Oh God, sorry. Oh no, pardon me.
No, it is dark out.
It's the sun's gone down. It's time to go to sleep. She's wearing a very long cardigan, like to her knees, a very like oversized pink cardigan, and then a black, I guess, silk like nightgown. I don't really know.
It looks like she's about to go to bed.
It looks like she's about to go to bed, I guess.
It's like
so,
but like it's not like lingerie, but it's like a shapely nightgown.
It's a
like
shapely nightgown. It's not like it's like a.
It's not like PJ pants or something.
No, but she is fancy. So let's be honest. But I love how it's like with the big giant chunky cardigan that's like as big as like her whole body.
Yep.
So I loved that. What was your favorite outfit?
Mine was Bernice when she meets the ladies, because she does come in like a fancy customer. She's got on a simple black dress, but over top of that black dress, she's wearing a bright red cape with a very colorful scarf up around her neck, bright gold earrings that are giant, like a Jackie O hat that matches her cape, and gloves that also match her cape, and a red leather clutch that matches, and like a giant gold bracelet. And it's beautiful.
She got so randomly like fancy in this season. She did. Very adorable, Sunny. And she's like, yeah, I fit right here.
Yeah, you do.
She got really fancy in this season. I'm surprised.
She did.
Sunny. She's mad that something is on Leslie's lap that isn't
that
her.
That is not her.
Basically.
I see you.
So, I guess that's our episode.
That's it. That's
Leslie,
our episode.
Where can people find us?
We are all over the internets. We are the Girls Who Came to Sugar Bakers on Podbean and iTunes. We are Sugar Baker Girls pretty much everywhere else, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, YouTube, Pinterest. If you like us, please take a moment to rate and review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. It helps us reach more people. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll talk to you next time.
Maybe next
Who
decade.
knows? Maybe next decade.
Shit, it might be next decade.
Maybe next decade. Anyway. Bye.
Just need to know our friendship won't end.
Also, we're filming.
Oh, we are?
Taping, not filming.
Good. Because we got to talk about Babyface Gerard Butler.
Babyface Gerard Butler.
I can't remember what... I mean, I liked him in, like, the Time line.
I saw that in the theater.
Is that... Yeah, me too.